Recording started. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another day of the Virtual Pack Walker Summit. My name is Rachel Martinez. I run the Healing Pack with my partner Andrew Martinez here in Los Angeles. We are a pack walking and training company, and we're the organizers of the Virtual Pack Walker series. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing my friend Terrance, who is an amazing pack walker, trainer, and just all around business mogul, who's going to be sharing with you a bit of his process around getting creative outside of the locks. And so without further ado, Terrance, I will hand it over to you. Take it away.
Thank you. Thank you. Can you hear me? Hear me? Okay, cool. Just make sure I didn't really hear you actually.
You guys can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, great.
Sounds good. Let me see here. So to start things off, my name is Terrance. I run Radiant Dogs. For those who are unsure or haven't really seen my work on social media, I know I'm not on there as much as many of you all, but that is one of my goals of this year, is to get on there a little bit more and utilize it in the way that I know that I could maximize it. And so I wanted to start with a little bit feedback on myself and my background. So I've been working with dogs for roughly about 17, 18 years now. Kind of got into it similar to Rachel. A big bulk of my experience comes from the dog daycare industry. But I first started off in volunteering for animal shelters, clinics. I then moved into boarding training facility where I was able to kind of get the start in terms of learning training tips and techniques. I then moved into the dog daycare where I spent a big bulk of my time from the entry level position of a dog handler, working myself all the way up to general manager. Then went into overseeing a holistic pet food store for quite a few months, and eventually led to basically developing Radiant Dogs, just because I wanted to get back into being hands-on with dogs. And Radiant Dogs has kind of just been my baby, just really experimenting with a lot of different things, creating different things. And that's kind of one of the beautiful things about running your own business, of course, I'm sure that you all know. And one of the leads to this, one of the big points to this lecture is basically to showcase some creativity, inspire you all, and get you all to think outside of the pack walk. And what I really wanted to jump on here is to also note that, again, feel free to jump in, chime in. That is a big thing to it all, is that I want this to kind of be an open dialogue for us all. And so the big one that we're going to start off with is something that I've developed for you all. I can't even, can you allow me to share there, Rachel?
Sorry, 2 seconds here. Make you a host. I think I made you a host, and you should be able to pop over now to share.
All right. There we go.
How are we looking?
I'm sorry, I'm not even letting me get in here.
Let me see here. Sorry, y'all. Having a technical issue. Yeah, why does it not want to let me shift my screen share? All right, 2 seconds. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going through the screen share settings here. I'm trying to figure out why it's not
or is
letting
it me?
No, it says for some reason that I have screen sharing disabled, but it looks like it's. Hmm. Fun. First technical snafu. We got this,
Anywho, I mean, we
guys,
can go without it if needed.
for sure. I'm gonna keep cranking here. If you want to just chat for a little bit,
Yeah.
I'll let you know if I get it clicked over.
So what I wanted to discuss in particular here was a concept of a community that is circled around us as dog walkers, and the theme of it was going to be the dog walker community. And essentially what this was going to be is a hub for all things that are dog walking. Let me just bring up my screen here just so I can see. And so essentially this hub is a space for dog walking professionals to connect, network, find real resources, and also inspire each other.
Participants to share their screen. I'm so sorry.
Sorry.
Oh my god, guys, I'm so sorry. I thought I was on mute. I'm sorry, Terrance, go ahead.
Oh, you're good. Let me see here. It's Friday. I mean, we're all cranking it out this week. But with this hub, it is basically set, and I hope to be able to transfer all this over to Rachel. I love Rachel, and I believe that she would be a good spokesman to really gather you all, like she's showcased in the virtual summit here. And I believe that with these elements, could possibly grow something even much larger that can support you all and be able to uplift everyone in the community, from those who are, of course, made a name for themselves to those who are just up and coming and starting and need a little bit more information or motivation to proceed with growing to where they want to be at. The goals and missions of this would be highlighting reputable walkers. And so with highlighting the reputable walkers, we want to make sure that we are, of course, putting in the forefront those with integrity. So I think it's a very important concept that as we highlight pack walking in general through social media, and it's just becoming a huge thing in many different cities and states, many people are looking for pack walking services versus actual just typical dog walking itself. But we also have to ensure that we are also protecting the industry as well, ensuring that we are able to share all of this information with others and be able to uplift those who are unsure. Here in LA, where I myself reside, Rachel, sure, maybe one or two others may be there too as well. But there's a lot of us here. A lot of us really operate with the intent of integrity and quality. Sometimes there are some others who may need a little bit work there, but it's really being able to showcase a platform of unity that we all are leading with the intent of structure and producing quality work. The focus here would also be on services that also relate to other aspects outside of dog walking. So I've seen in the sense of Molly just started kind of a biking course. I've seen someone else who was just starting to showcase how to train the dog, how to walk on a one wheel, which I thought was pretty cool. But it would be a cool way to set forth this hub to really highlight many other individuals in the industry. Again, reverting back to the unity side too as well, I think it is a very important aspect to really kind of work with each other to kind of start to brand what pack walking is to the public. I think in many areas here like LA, most people have ran into pack walks when they are hiking their own dogs or seeing us in the neighborhoods walking, but there are many others who are not too familiar with the what all goes into pack walking in general. Let me just see if I can actually do this again. No, for some reason we can't get it, but it's all good, Rachel. I'm not sure if you're there. You can hear me.
Sorry, yeah, I'm here. I was trying not to interrupt again.
Oh no, you're cool.
Yeah, I've tried everything on my end as far as the share screen. It looks like you should be able to share, but for some reason it's just not working. So I'm so sorry about
Okay,
that.
it's all good. Try one more here. Yeah.
No dice. All right. So sorry about that, my friend.
All good, all good. Again, too, I know there's a few of you out there. Feel free to chime in and pitch in if you have any questions around something or you wanted to add a little bit more to it. I wanted to make this an open dialogue for us all here to just kind of brainstorm on something that can be big for us all here. Getting back into my notes. See where we were at here. So again, we're kind of discussing highlighting reputable walkers. We also would make this hub basically to stay in the know with everything that is dog related. So here we can kind of really kind of pinpoint and go to this place in which we highlight as the dog walking community. And we can be able to set forth things to ensure that we all can kind of be in the know of it versus kind of relying on social media, which is also a really good component to, of course, being able to collab with everyone. But oftentimes, there's a little bit of gatekeeping that can happen with social media, certain apps. Oftentimes, if you're not too familiar with watching someone's content constantly, you may not be able to see it in the forefront. It may put it on the back burner. Therefore, you don't really see it in your kind of core collection of other pack walkers that you may see. Um, the next component to this would be a place to network and connect. So again, this would be in the sense of kind of like how the Healing Pack has their website. This would kind of be something that they can even implement more. Rachel, I'm trying to boost you up to add more stuff into your whole setup. But this would be a place of network and connection. Find and meet more in your line of work. So meeting other quality, reputable pack walkers. Join together to host classes for the public or even host events together. As many of you know, it's a little bit difficult to kind of kick things off by yourself. A lot of times it can be a bit intimidating. Many of us can be a little bit clueless in terms of where to start, but if you're kind of working with someone who's a little bit more of a vet, more skilled in terms of setting up these courses and classes, you can really learn more from them and also be able to experience these courses and mentorships, understanding how to go about it from the back end. And again, for those who are more seasoned into developing these type of courses or hosting classes like this, we all know that it can be a bit easy to actually have additional staff, those who are actually skilled and trained to assist you properly when it comes to hosting classes. Um, so from something of doing a class of 10 to 15 by yourself, just imagine, being able to collab with another reputable person and being able to offer this class to potentially 50, people at a time or something that's really extreme. And then that can even lead into major events to where, here in LA, where there's so many of us, imagine, 15 or so of us all gathering together to really kind of go out, rent a huge space, and really kind of bring together like a actual massive event, whether it be for ourselves or whether it be for actual dog owners, those who are looking to jump into the industry. I think there's many different angles there. Rachel, did you have?
I mean, no, I just was gonna say, like, I love this idea. I mean, a big piece that I really get stuck with, like, as a pack walker is, I get a high volume of inquiries because my business has been established for a while, and like I like to be able to refer to other people, but like you only have so much capacity. I can only send you so many people. I probably send you
Yeah,
hundreds of people that you're like, just dude, no more.
yeah,
and and like in all fairness, we've just been fortunate to be able to connect. We've run into each other, so like we kind of got a feel for each other. We found each other on social media, but like
yeah,
there's a piece right now like in the business world for dog professionals where like if you don't have a huge Instagram following, it's kind of hard to get discovered, and like
yeah.
there's plenty of quality professionals out there that maybe just aren't social media managers, and at the
Mhm.
same time there's also lots of social media dog accounts that like really don't offer like a whole bunch, and it's like not to say that there's not great dog accounts out there, but there's also just like some that have massive followings without a lot of like really foundation to build upon it. And I think something that's exciting to me is like just being able to give people who are even are starting off offering a high quality, like, can get more access, can network, can connect without necessarily already having all those established connections in place.
I fully agree with that all, and I think that's a kind of the big aspect of it all is I think you are, you're the person that can easily mold and shape this, and I have a lot more information that I want to give you on the back end, and hopefully we can work to really build this. But I think it's a huge thing in terms of being able to network and connect with each other to easily grow. Of course, you can do this on your own and by yourself, but when you're doing this as a team, when you're doing this with others who also share the same passion, know the ins and outs, maybe in certain areas that you may not be too familiar with, they can help you, they can aid you. You can provide these as a sense of service to them, or even give it in terms of a freebie, giving back to the actual industry of itself. Being able to have a few, few individuals under you that you've mentored, and just going from there in terms of building up. I'm not very active on social media, but in terms of the area that I work, I'm pretty well known in terms of helping out other individual pack walkers, whether it be veterans who are very skilled, but maybe a little bit limited on the business side, or those who are just starting off and a little bit curious in terms of how do they grow, how do they get more clients, how do they deal with particular clients, irate clients, clients who, aren't paying on time. All these things, of course, we can save each other time and energy by being able to share these resources with one another.
Definitely.
The next component would be collabing with one another on content. I think that would be kind of a fun component to it all, to where we can have topics and just silly things in general to just keep that camaraderie. I can't even speak right now. To just keep that connection with everyone. Sorry, out of all things, I just ate like a apple that really gave me dry mouth right now. So sorry.
Terrance, you're doing great. I'm still trying to get over the fact that I spoke over you as I was trying to like Google Voice a
It's all
Zoom
good.
request.
But collabing with one another to really just be able to, again, put a little bit exposure, a little bit highlight on someone who may not be getting that much light, but you admire their work, you know that they're working hard, they're showcasing the qualities and skills that you love, that you know you really want to see in this industry, and really being able to uplift those individuals. And the reason why I keep coming back to that is that for one reason, here in LA, where there's so many dog walkers, one of the biggest fears for me and for many that I speak with is the fear of the city intervening with the industry. There's not much regulation going on here, and the city can easily come in and really kind of throw everyone for a loop depending upon what they do here. So I think really being able to showcase that there is a massive amount of individuals who don't just take this as a gig, a fast cash job, but also there are individuals who see this as a profession and who are also taking this very seriously. They have thriving businesses, and they're putting forth education to educate other individuals. And I think this also can break into, Rachel, what you mentioned in the beginning of starting the whole virtual summit, which is being able to collect a few individuals to create a dog association. I think that would be a major thing, especially when it comes to combating the city. If they were to want to kind of come down on dog walkers, we can have those individuals really speak up and really put forth kind of the foot to ensure that things are done in a meaningful way, impactful way. Any questions around there? Anyone want to jump in and chime? Any ideas floating around in the head? Don't be shy.
Yeah, I think
Raina?
that's a really good idea. So I have that issue of like, I'm not a big social media person, and I basically, right now I'm at a phase where all of my clients, which have been kind of just, word of mouth, out and about, that's no longer happening, and I'm not getting them that way. And I think it's because everybody has been relying on Instagram and social media, which, yeah, so like I'm accepting the fact that I have to do that now, but which is going to be a big change for me. But I also think that having the involvement with the city, and is a potential, issue, and it's already a little bit challenging now. We've lost some of the trails, and and honestly, climate change being the fact that, you know, like I'm not able to, I'm not really going on where I used to go anymore just now because it's hot and the foxtails, and I have a bunch of doodles, but it's more like if we were to start an association where like for example, I'm like, you know, a member of the Association for Professional Dog Trainers, but if we could have one that's specifically for professional pack walkers, I think it would number one, of course, any issue that comes, we can kind of, it's power in numbers, you know, if we have to stand up to the city or something, or maybe come up with a compromise with them, or if a problem arises. But in addition, maybe that would help when you can filter out the dog walkers that are trying to just make quick cash and have a great, like, young people that like love social media and really don't necessarily have a lot of experience. Maybe we can, I mean, not that I want to kick them out, but like, you know, if they're not into it the way we are and paying membership dues maybe and having an association, maybe they're not the serious ones. And then maybe the search engines like on Google and stuff will pull, or maybe people can find out that there is this association and use it to we could even like list the membership so that if you and our location and service areas, so that it will help point potential clients into the correct pack walkers pack, you know, like the one that's best suited for them based on location and whatever, you know. We could all have our like maybe little like little profiles. Is that something that you guys were thinking about doing? Is that what you mean?
I think that would be a great idea in terms of setting forth. What I envision would be exactly that, would be kind of like a catalog of pack walkers. And then if we wanted to even kind of really get into the nitty gritty, we can put it into particular niches. Even though, you know, some of us may not feel as though we have particular dogs that we like to work with, you know, looking at our packs, sometimes it's easy to see that there's a theme there, there's something going on there. Myself, though I don't promote it a lot, I like working with, you know, a little bit more of the crazier dogs, the
Yeah, I
ones
know.
that
Yeah.
need a little bit more of a push.
Yeah.
They keep me sharp, is how I feel. You know,
Oh, I
for me,
agree. I agree.
keeps me
I
sharp.
like it.
It's a, yeah, it can be a pain in the butt at times, but they keep me sharp.
Yep.
See,
Also
I'm the
too, one of
opposite.
the yeah.
I'm like softies only. I basically,
Yeah.
and it's kind of funny because like I have a high level of, you know, skill with the leash, and I'm like at this point I'm
Yeah.
like I want to put the leash on and you just walk good, and I get to choose
Yeah.
that. I get to choose that. Like
Yeah.
there are different walkers who want different types of dogs, and people who like more like a challenge or a project or like spending more
Right.
time. And I'm not that person right now, and I can say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, give me your easy
That's
dog
okay.
and pay me. It's great.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
of course, too, I mean, it goes up to, you know, preference and skill set too as well. So with this is also being able to, again, host a space to where individuals are aware of, you know, whether or not you're taking on a dog who is genuinely a project. Is this a project dog that you can actually take on and easily integrate into your pack? Or is this something to where you may need to recruit like a mentor or shadow someone before you get into
Yeah.
operating with dogs as such? Because of course, I'm sure Rachel, you're familiar with it. Raina, you're familiar with it. You're coming across other pack walkers who may not have their pack as in sync, or they have a dog that really probably shouldn't really
Right.
be in a pack,
Right.
but they're not too familiar with you know, going about conditioning the dog properly, whether it be individually or within the pack. And I think too, just
Mhm.
having other individuals, other mentors that really can help mold and shape, you know, those who are coming into this industry in the proper way versus allowing them to kind of really experience a huge or massive amount of negativity. I mean,
Yeah.
I always run into new walkers, and sometimes, you know, some of the stories that they'll spill on me, you know, it's unfortunate to hear. And oftentimes, you know, if they had someone that was actually there for them in the beginning, you know, in terms of training and, you know, really trying to coach them properly, we can really kind of get rid of some of the negative points that are constantly viewed on pack walkers. I'm sure everyone who watches this had their fair share of very positive interactions with locals and individuals, and we've also experienced negative ones too as well. Of
Yeah.
course, those negative ones hit much harder than the positive ones a lot of times. It's just how life goes in a sense. Um, but really being able to showcase some unity here, I think, is a huge one. And I want to hit this last one here. What I can do too, Rachel, I can send a PDF form to you if you wanted to upload this, or even keep it to yourself, because I feel as though on the back end, we definitely should talk about this. But lastly, a place of resource. So this hub would be a place to where we can essentially create a library of educational content. So again, it's not saying that, of course, anyone who is open to doing this, that you're creating content for, you know, the community itself. You're basically just creating content as you normally would for your social media accounts. But what we would do is basically be able to share that information within this hub. So, you know, again, to kind of give it a clearer example would be, let's say in the sense of a few videos that I have in terms of training, I can easily basically share those over to Rachel, and she can do like she's doing now, you know, posting these on her website, making it, you know, essentially a hub to where you can go and collect this information. We all know, hey, I can go to the Healing Pack. This is all here. She's got, you know, things from training to pack walking 101, how to introduce one dog at a time, how to do A, B, C. But I believe that it's very important that we really start to kind of create a hub here. I think too, it's a good one in a sense to really push this for us to do it as a collective versus, you know, more business savvy, more business minded people come in and really start to take advantage of it, which actually happens oftentimes. And again, the more that we put, the more that we highlight this industry, the more that we got to be, you know, in that way of thinking that there's going to be individuals who are going to want to come in here. They're seeing dollar signs, they're seeing all the money that's coming in. They're going to want to make a profit, and why not it be all of you who basically love this industry, who have put in the work to do it, really kind of, you know, take your career and really get a hold of it and really be able to sprout in ways that possibly yourself, you know, you would have been a bit nervous to do on your own, but again, being able to do this as a collective makes it much easier and more possible to do. Within this place of resources, one of my favorites too. So again, this place can be for courses, classes, workshops, products developed by walkers. I'm not just saying that on myself in terms of creating products, but there's many others out there that I know are creating small little products. I'm really forgetting her name right now. Sunshine Pack Walking, I believe. I have to look at it again, but she creates these really cool skins for e-collar controllers. She even makes leashes and certain things of that. So it's really being able to promote us, putting us in the limelight. Shadowing programs is another huge one, and again, too, just being able to host any other things in which individuals in the community would want to do. Again, going into particular courses, again, kind of going back into Molly's in the sense I just recently fell in love with a lot of her content, but the whole biking aspect that she's doing, and she's even kind of putting a little bit of a paywall to it, being able to basically promote things like that to where, again, we're not generating all this content to basically just magnify the hub, but it's magnifying everybody contributing to the hub itself. And I think that would be a huge kind of up boost or level up into what many of us are doing right now. Just really being able to do things as a collective, as a whole, and really just being able to put all these thoughts and not just think about it, but actually start making these things happen. And what better way to lead it off by really just being able to work together, brainstorm, you know, get one foot going, seeing how the others operate too as well. Again, I think what Rachel produced here is something huge, and it just showcases her ability to really bring everyone together. And instead of, you know, someone like myself being able to develop all of this, I truly want to be able to give this to individuals that I know are extremely passionate, more passionate than myself. Even just really blunt, you know, open to be able to state that myself. I love dogs. been working with dogs my whole life, but I also have my hands in many other different business ventures. I just love to create things. I love to help individuals build, especially if they're very motivated, in terms of wanting to grow in different ways. Um, but I really want to be able to hand off all this information and this roadmap essentially to create this to someone that I know would have good hands into it, whether it be Rachel or someone else, or everyone can collect. There can be a group of individuals who want to take on this venture together and be able to build it all together. But I think ultimately the next step to pack walking itself is really getting together a proper association. Prior to that, I think something that's a little easier to develop and create would be a pack walker community, just seeing how everything floats and how everything kind of irons out together, and really being able to properly produce that into a association. Any questions or anyone? I know there's some others here. Go ahead. I think you're still on mute there. Can we get you off mute? I think
it's so weird. It says that I'm having like just like some weird Zoom stuff today. Like I'm pressing ask to unmute. It also says that everyone can unmute themselves, but for some reason it's not letting you, Shauna.
I was just going to see if mine can unmute. So maybe it's something with Shauna's. I just wanted to say quick, unfortunately, my toddler literally woke up just as you started talking. So I missed like the first chunk, and I'm so heartbroken because I was so excited for this. So, but I did get a little bit of a gist of what you were saying. And I think is like, I'm a Canadian pack walker and we have very little support here. Like I feel like I gravitate a lot to the Americans to watch, like to find that support and to communicate and have that like that hub. So it will be really nice to, if that was something you were talking about, is like creating this hub, it will be nice to kind of bring some of the stuff to Canada too, so that there is a little bit more regulation and just more education too. Like sometimes it scares me to see some stuff and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we need some better regulation or something here. So, and it's hard also when there's just like nobody to bounce things off of, even like who, other than the Soulful Pack, which is in my area, there's really nobody else that does this. So yeah, it's been hard to, so I loved all this. So sorry, long story short.
No, I mean, do tell it all. I think that would be kind of the beautiful thing of it, is that even to just we can have scouts out there who can really kind of go in and really collect business names, individuals, because of course not all of us are on social media, are as active as everyone. So sometimes I'll come across a page that they haven't posted in months. Sometimes I've been guilty of doing it myself, but they're very well thriving in the industry. They're doing great. Here in LA, there's some who their Instagram, their social media pages they're very curated, but on the trail it's kind of the opposite. And some of these can have very massive followings, yet the quality and what they're producing is very far from what they're actually disclosing or promoting. And I think this kind of this community, which can elevate into an association, we can really kind of shine light into individuals who are actually really taking this serious. Because again, for me, I think, which I'm sure with all of you, the more we get on social media, the more a lot of dog activities and services are being highlighted. There's always kind of like that component to where owners see this as kind of like gimmicky in a sense, or as a game, because it is working with dogs. Kind of the idea and kind of concept of pet ownership oftentimes is kind of viewed upon as fun and rainbows and flying dogs, but we also have that other side to where there's many owners who are struggling because in their mind the only way to train a dog is to basically wave a treat in front of their face and not basically check their energy at the door, or actually working on themselves first and foremost. I'm sure all of you have come across, if you do training, it's becoming more and more common, a little bit more difficult before you can even kind of get to the nitty gritty of, performing actual drills with the dog, because you really have to get the individual to understand it is their energy first and foremost that is creating these issues or behaviors. But if we all can kind of get aligned with that and really start to mold and shape just our profession, our industry in a way that is meaningful, not just to the dogs and the owners, but also meaningful to our time and energy too as well. Because oftentimes we all can have kind of the core philosophy in terms of how we go about training dogs, and there may be some little changes here and there, but we all kind of have the core understanding that it is relationship first that ultimately trains a dog. Your energy is a huge thing that trains a dog too as well, but not many owners are aware of this, just simply because of the content that's out there, whether it be just it's shining light on something a little bit different, or whether or not people just aren't looking for this, because when they do spot it, it's kind of just a handful of trainers who are speaking about this in general. So it's really trying to shed light on things that are important to the industry as a whole. And again, just really trying to put the power in you guys' hands, everyone in this community, putting that power in your hands before someone comes in and really kind of swipes at or take a hold of it. We have other companies right now who are, big companies who are offering individual dog walking. I'm sure there'll come a point to where they're going to want to offer hikes in general. And once that starts to happen, it's really going to cause a red flag that I'm sure the city will be like, hey, we gotta, start to put something, we really gotta start to put some roadblocks there. And just really being able to get us to lead this charge in the game. Any other questions out there or potential ideas, inspiration, motivation?
Shauna had put into the chat just like how valuable this would be for dog owners as well as dog professionals, like just kind of like what you were saying, increasing the awareness around like the standards that can be held in pack walking. And like, I mean, I can just say as like a person who, I walk with my pack every day, I've just really been noticing how much people think that what I do is so different than the normal. And like, to be fair, that's a little worrisome that like me walking dogs safely is like not the norm. Like what people will comment like, wow, like they're just so well behaved. And like, I used to brush it off and now I'm like, I would have it no other way. And like, it's a problem for me, not from like a place of superiority, but like when I see a pack that is fucking dangerous, it's not good for anybody. It makes all of us look bad. Unfortunately, every pack walker, we're the ambassador and we're like the proof of concept to anyone who's interacting with a pack. And so like, it's not from a place of like wanting to shame people into doing better, but like there does need to be a standard held. There's a shit ton of liability that comes with walking a pack, and like it's not just like a fun and games thing. There's so much that can go wrong so quickly. And I do think even more so than just like the professional standard, it's just like in general, like the standard for what dogs being together can look and feel like when done safely.
That not to mention just the environment too as well, that causes more, potential dangers, just us in general, you doing your pack walks in the neighborhood. I do primarily, on the trails. We both kind of experience different factors, in terms of risk there. I'm sure you get a lot more, having to deal with people in the sense, cars. And, on my end, really, being able to understand the environment, your surroundings, understanding, snake patterns, different types of snakes out on the trail, understanding how to navigate and control your pack to move out of the way for, bike riders who are, coming down the trail pretty, fast, or a group of hikers who just for some reason think that it's okay to circle you and just, stare down the dogs and just things like that. Just all those things, because many of us, of course, when we first experienced that, we were pretty clueless. But again, having a hub to where you can easily go into a video and see like, hey, what do you do when this thing happens? This is what I do when I come across, individuals and I want to advocate for my pack without sounding like an asshole in a sense, or being able to advocate for my pack and also be able to, you know, shed a positive light on what I'm doing, even if I'm coming across someone who's being a little bit tough with seeing me and my pack. Generally, very common thing I'm sure all of us go through. Sometimes you'll get people who are just like, you're not supposed to have that many dogs.
Yeah.
Yet all your dogs are walking nicely. Or my fun favorite, of course, is, you know, someone with just one dog, and, you know, that dog is losing it, and all your dogs are just looking like, what's going on here? But being able to really kind of navigate those spaces in a positive way, because again, too, even when I come across individuals on the trail, and, you know, I come into a situation to where I can see that individual is really going to make a negative out of this, I'll try to find the most positive that I can in terms of converting it, making a joke out of it, but trying to leave it with a positive note so that we all kind of look good as a core. Or certain things I do with my pack in terms of, you know, pulling to the side. I have commands in which everyone in my pack knows, pull to the side, sit down, look pretty, allow the person to pass by, even though none of this is not fully necessary. It makes us all look good in the long run. Not that we all have to do that, but in the sense that if we all are doing this, you know, the outlook on this will be more so in the sense of these guys, you know, got their stuff down pat, and we can all kind of have that little stamp, like Raina said. Even that would be a great idea, kind of just a association stamp, or even just a dog walker community stamp. Really starting to kind of put that into, you know, perspective, that people are being trained, and
Right.
you know, these are courses and education that can be found,
Yeah,
and that these people are becoming certified.
it would separate us from, and something is, a lot of people, when I've noticed clients, potential clients, when they are going to sign up or not sign up with me, like I have clients that their biggest concern was they'd never heard of these pack walks before, or didn't really, especially some of the older clients that I've had that don't even know what, they didn't know when I started taking their dog what a pack walk was really. And they were terrified of things. They had heard stories of dogs being forgotten in a van, left in a van in the heat, or they had heard stories about rattlesnakes, or they had heard, you know, things like that. And it would be cool if there would be a little education on to the public coming from all of us, from this hub type thing, and sort of being able to sort of not certify necessarily, but sort of say like, this is our stance, these are our standards. Everybody that in this particular community has been, you know, we all agree that these are the standards, and we all take these into our practice. So for example, today Antonio and I actually, both of our packs, we almost got run over by a very fast bike rider coming around a curve. We didn't even have time to discuss that with the guy. The guy was yelling and cursing at us and disappeared. But like things like, you know, when there is a bike rider, if we even kind of, I mean, of course, everybody's going to need to do it a little differently, but then basic standards where we can explain in a consistent way to the public and potential clients and stuff how we would handle a situation that as it comes up, and just all sorts of safety things, because the trail does have, you know, there's, and I'm sure so does, and I walked, sometimes I do street walks too, and I run into issues, like cars coming, and you know, or a group of people without dogs that are coming in, they're kind of taking up the sidewalk, and then you can't necessarily go. So there's lots of things. But the other day, I actually was walking the dogs in a city street in the Palisades, and I almost stepped on a snake. So it wasn't a rattlesnake. So I'm just saying, yeah, it was extra scary because I wasn't on the trail. So I mean, like it was, DJ almost got, you know, walked into it. Then today, I actually almost drove over a giant rattlesnake that was crossing Chautauqua while everybody was driving. And so he almost got, yeah. So the snakes are the worst this year I've ever seen. So are the lizards, which some dogs will get, you know, some dogs that have some kind of a prey drive might go after the lizards, but it's just a whole slew of things, and I feel like it's changing every year. You do have to kind of keep up on what's going on, like where just there's just all sorts of things that potentially can go wrong. And I do think it's really important that we say to people, like, you know, look, we have it down, look at this, look how good our dogs are, because Number one, I don't want to get too many complaints and have the city shut us down. And then also it just helps because those people might know somebody that if they don't have a dog themselves, they might know somebody that does. And they'll say, listen, I saw this really cool thing. I saw about pack walker walking 12 dogs. It was amazing. They were so calm. That person might say, well, give me their name and number, so it's just going to make more people likely to use the service. The better we are at keeping it calm, positive, safe, and conveying that our practices to everybody by acting in that way. So yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah,
really important.
I think all of it is good. And again, for this lecture in general, I wanted to kind of just make it an open dialogue, just kind of get a little feedback from everyone, kind of also kind of put forth the idea and really just start to kind of mold and shape it on the back end. And in general, just wanting to essentially hand this over to an individual, Rachel.
I mean, I literally have like 1,000 ideas, like just since you started talking. So we'll definitely have like a separate meeting, because I will have to close out this room in like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But like,
so definitely, I just wanted to kind of just plant the seed and also just kind of plant the seed in everyone else to kind of spark those ideas. That sense of uniqueness, bringing your own sense of uniqueness in terms of what you can offer to this hub or offer to others in general, or offer in terms of what you're already highlighting for yourself. How can you bring this into ways in which you can educate others or simply educate other owners too as well? I think is a huge one too as well. But I think one of the important factors for me, first and foremost, looking at it from the inside out and also from the outside in would be, we first have to get our stuff together. I think that's the first and foremost important factor before we kind of look into the dog parents. I think making sure that we're all in sync in terms of what we're advocating for, what we're truly advocating for when it comes into our dog walks. What is the kind of set regimen in terms of structure? What is structure to us as a core, as a whole? Is that simply just dogs walking behind us, or is it them actually knowing how to respect each other's space while they're walking? All these things should kind of be bounce between each other, multiple individuals within the space, and take it from there. But this was just kind of just to plant the seed, and of course, I'm sure me and Rachel will work together to hopefully bring you all something special in the future.
absolutely. I really appreciate it, Terrance. I was like, the one thing that like already came to mind is I was like, imagine we have maps of like where it's good to walk dogs and where it's not good to walk dogs. It could be like, this is a shaded area. This is an area that's good for 3 to 5 dogs. This is an area that's good for bigger dogs.
Yes.
And also being able to connect, like if people have properties, like being able to rent and have private spaces, like that network of things. It's like having somewhere safe to walk, I feel like is a huge issue for many pack walkers. And so like that could really be an opportunity too. Like imagine we freaking crowdfund and we rent a space that people can come in and utilize to work their packs in a safe place. Like there's just so much potential here, and I'm super excited and just like grateful that you opened up this conversation. I definitely think you're a great person to talk about it with. I know you and I have already had quite a few chats around just like holding a standard with dog walking. So yeah, I just really appreciate you bringing this to the forefront. I feel like we could stay on here for hours and talk about this.
Yeah, no, I don't want to keep you all posted. And I know too, we're gonna have another brilliant talk by one of my other favorites, Renee, Dingo Doggies. So I'm excited for that one. And that's it. I mean, unless anyone else has any ending comments, I'll end it there.
I just think this is really great.
How do we make sure that we all have each other's contact? Like, are you guys gonna collect? So
I just actually had an idea today, and I'm going to create a post to be pinned to the top of my page, essentially as like an initial networking thing. So like any pack walkers that want to network with each other, follow each other, be included in this type of stuff, they could just drop a comment in there.
I'm sorry, Rachel, what's your actual page name?
We're called the Healing Pack.
Oh, I have you already. Okay, so I follow you.
Beautiful. Yeah. So I'm just gonna create a post on there that we can easily all be sharing. And I figure that'll be at the very least the first place where we can just like drop and have a rotating list of pack walkers to connect with. And then I feel like we'll just create an email list. We can start
Yep, perfect.
clicking it out from there.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
Sounds good. Thank you all for joining, and excited for all that's to come. I think it's going to be something special for us all.
Absolutely. Thanks again so much, Terrance. Thanks for your time.
Thank you,
Thank you, thank
Terrance.
you.
Thank you.
See you all.
Hope you have a beautiful rest of the eve. We'll be on again in about 10 minutes to go on with Renee of Dingo Doggies.
All right.
Take care, everyone.
Peace.